Hey, everybody. Good evening. It's Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You. I've been having a little chat with you guys here before we started, so that's nice. Thanks for logging on ahead of time and saying hi. It's always nice to know that I'm not talking to, an empty space out there, although it feels like it. I don't know if I told you the week that we did the chat with me and Mary and Ginny and Mary's granddaughter was here. Savvy was so disappointed because she wanted to show all the people how she could knit. And when she got into the shop, there was just us and the camera. So she was so disappointed. She said, no one's there. Very cute though, huh? Hi, Jal. How are you? Happy Wednesday, everybody. So this evening, I wanted to talk a little bit about summer fibers. Yarn companies tend to lump fibers into one of two categories. It's a summer fiber or it's a winter fiber. And what ends up happening is anything that has a high percentage of wool or alpaca tends to be a winter fiber, and anything that has a majority of cotton or linen tends to be a summer fiber. But it's really not that simple because there's all kinds of characteristics, there's all kinds of blends, there's texture, and all of those kinds of things that are factors in how cool or comfortable some fiber is going to feel when the weather's really hot. So I have a bunch of yarn here, and I have a bunch of sweaters that I've knit, and I just wanted to kind of go over with you some of the fibers that generally make great warm weather wear and some that might really surprise you. So let's get started. When you think about summer fibers, obviously linen is king. Okay. Linen is one of those fibers that is just perfect for the warm weather. It's hollow, so that makes it very light and breathable, but it has what's called a wicking characteristic, which means that it absorbs the water, but rather than holding onto it, it moves the water outside so it doesn't just get stuck there. So it moves the water, moisture. I'm just going to say moisture when I mean perspiration. We all know what I'm talking about here, right? When it's hot and you're sweating or perspiring, you want a fabric that is going to make you feel cooler. So what it does is it takes that moisture away from your body to the outside of the fibers where they can evaporate. So, that's like the ultimate, right? In coolness, you want something that is going to do that so that you feel cool and dry. And that's what linen does. It is a beautiful, beautiful fiber. It's really durable. It is strong. It doesn't pill. It lasts forever. When you think about it, the mummies that were dug up in Egypt were all wrapped in linen and they were still going strong. That linen was still doing its thing, thousands of years later. So it's definitely super durable. The downside to it is that it can be expensive. Linen of that quality is an expensive proposition. Also, it's not a treat to knit with. I'm just going to say it. If you've ever knit with 100% linen, you know that it's stiff and it doesn't have any elasticity. Like all plant-based fibers, it lacks elasticity. But that stiffness really is part of what makes it so great in a knitted fabric. So when you have a knitted fabric of linen, the stitches kind of hold their shape, unlike other fibers that either bloom into the space between the stitches or collapse into them. Linen it's more open, it's more separate. It doesn't have any loft. So it is wonderful to wear because the fabric is never going to be completely full. Do you know what I mean? It's never going to, you're always going to be able to get some airflow through it. So that makes it really, really nice in the summer when it's really hot, to be able to get a little air moving through your clothes feels so, so nice. What else did I want to tell you about linen? So like all fibers, there are grades of linen, so with linen, as with cotton or wool, the quality is graded by the length of the staple. So a really long and beautiful linen fiber is going to be a high quality. And that kind of linen is so beautiful and lustrous. And it just makes a really, really gorgeous fabric. So linen is probably the best hot weather fiber, right? Tell me in the comments if you have worked with linen, or you like linen, or you've knit with linen, or you have a linen sweater. I would be anxious to hear your thoughts on that, especially if you have knit with linen. I don't tend to carry a lot of 100% linen in the shop. Not that I don't like it, it doesn't sell well, and it's kind of a disaster on the shelf. But one yarn that I talked about last week, the Noro's Noro Asaginu, is almost 70% linen, and the other 30% is paper. So definitely has those characteristics of linen. But when you work with a linen fiber, when you ball it, when you knit with it, as you wear it, and then when you wash it and wear it and wash it and wear it, it softens up into such an incredible fiber. So last week, I showed you the unblocked swatch of the linen Asaginu, linen and paper, and I blocked it right on camera for you so you could see. And what I wanted to share with you tonight is that same fiber after it's dried, because what you saw was the fabric after it had been blocked, and then it was all wet, and it does dry quickly, but it didn't dry quickly enough for me to show you on the show. So I have that little swatch, and look how lovely this is. It is so flexible and beautiful. And I've knitted at 3 different gauges, and I think they're all, perfectly wearable, right? This is the loosest gauge, and I have my hand behind it. You can see that it's really not see-through, right? It depends on your level of modesty, whether you would want to wear something under it. I personally would not have a problem wearing this, just as my only layer. Let me show you real quick here what it looks like. So here it is all dry, and it really is just a beautiful, beautiful fabric. I love it so much. I can't wait to knit with it. So that's pretty much the whole kind of my take on the linen thing, right? Most of the linens that you're going to see, at least the plied linens, are going to behave a lot like that. And if you can, knit with them and really steam them and block them and wear them, you're going to be really, really happy with the fabric. This sweater that I mentioned last time, I think, is knit in a linen blend, and it has just a wonderful drape. And I was thinking about kind of making this garment again in the Asaginu, maybe doing a knit along. I'm definitely going to be doing a knit along with that yarn. I just haven't decided what pattern we're going to do. So that's linen. So let's see what everybody has to say. Let's see. Hey, everybody. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Gwen, Evelyn, Polly, Jal, Tina. Yay, so nice to see you. Alicia. Hey, Mick. Nice to see you. Yes, had them, and love them. Yep. Right. Cotton is definitely. Yep. I love linen. Right. Didn't mind knitting it, but it's stretched out. Maybe to go back. Yeah. Linen really does need to go in the washer and the dryer. I would definitely recommend washing and drying your swatch first, because it will shrink up, and that's going to definitely impact your finished garment. Alicia has knit with it. Yep, exactly. So exactly what I'm saying is that the linen is going to evolve into a fabric that's going to be one of your favorites. I absolutely believe that. Mick is interested in the sweater I just showed. That is called Triton, Tritondk, and it is by Shelley Anderson. She was the designer for Shibui for a long, long time. And this is one of her earliest designs after she left and went out on her own under Shell Designs, Shel. She's a wonderful, talented designer. So I'm going to be sending out a survey to everyone on my newsletter list about what sweater they might like to knit as a knit along in the Asaginu. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you go to the description of this video and sign up for the newsletter so that you can be involved with that and hear all the news about when we do that knit along. So that's going to be super fun. All right, so that is linen. Now let's talk about cotton. All right, so cotton is, it's definitely our go-to fabric for summer. Everybody loves cotton. I mean, how could you not, right? The fabric of our lives and all that stuff. It's soft. It's pretty durable. It's affordable. And it's nice. It's wonderful. It's very, very absorbent. So let me just talk a little bit about the difference between absorbent and moisture wicking, okay? Because they're not the same thing. So moisture wicking, as I said, is when it pulls the moisture, the perspiration or whatever, away from your skin and transmits it out. So it's like a membrane that absorbs it from here and puts it out over there, okay? Cotton, on the other hand, absorbs the moisture into its fiber pores, the micropores of the fiber, and keeps it there. Okay. So if you think about like a man's undershirt, he wants that to be cotton because he doesn't want something wicking the moisture away from his body and passing it on to his top layer, right? To the dress shirt that he's wearing. So absorbent is what you want like as a mid layer. So, but if you're wearing it as your only layer, then it doesn't dry very quickly. So in terms of coolness for summertime wear, cotton is beautiful and cool, but it doesn't have the same properties of moisture wicking that linen does. But it is beautiful and it is soft. I'm especially fond of a mercerized cotton. Let me show you my favorite mercerized cotton, because when a cotton is mercerized, that's a process that it goes through that kind of takes the loft out, it pre-shrinks it, it makes it very shiny. So cotton glacé is, I think, just a beautiful, this is cotton glacé. I'm going to show you here. Can you see how shiny cotton glacé is? So this is a sport weight yarn, and you can see that it doesn't have any loft at all. So like linen, it's maybe just a tiny bit stiff so that when you knit it, it's not going to relax into itself. It's not going to bloom. And there's going to be airspace between the stitches in your fabric, which will keep you cool. Mercerized cotton is also much slower to absorb moisture. So it's not it will still absorb it, but it's not going to get drenched or saturated, and it's not going to feel clammy. So I really, really like that. All right, let's see. Some other stuff I wanted to tell you about cotton. Okay, so just because something is cotton doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great warm weather fiber. Okay, let me just show you something real quick. You want to think a minute about, okay, what is one of winter's coziest fibers that's not wool? Coziest fabrics, right? Flannel. Okay, flannel, you think, ooh, cozy flannel pajamas, how warm, how wonderful. Flannel's made of cotton. So it's more than just the material. A lot of it has to do with the texture. So that flannel is kind of brushed up, and it has a surface texture that makes it trap air and feel a little cozier than something like that mercerized cotton. So let's take a look a minute at this. Beautiful. This is a gorgeous yarn. This is Galler Yarns Inca Echo. It's a beautiful organic cotton, non-mercerized, minimally impactful dye. Just beautiful, beautiful yarn. But you can see how it's kind of matte. That's an indication that it's not mercerized. So see the difference between these two yarns? 100% cotton, 100% cotton. This one's mercerized and this one isn't. So it's very matte. It's very soft, but more importantly, it's very lofty. And by lofty, I mean that there's a lot of air trapped in the fibers. So you see that if I were to twist this up, I could make it tighter and smaller. That means that there's air trapped in those fibers, and that air trapped in the fibers is what's insulating. And insulating can mean that you're not getting as much breathability. You're not getting as much heat transfer. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? So it's more than just saying, oh, all cottons are cool, or cotton is always cool, or whatever. Does that make sense? Right. Let's see. We have some comments here. Morgan, I just swatched with linen for the first time using Rowan Creative Linen. Yes, I love that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. Question, do you wash it in hot, warm, or cold water? Linen, I just wash in, whatever. I tend to wash things in warm water, things like that with warm water, and then I dry them on casual. So that's totally worked for me. Ooh, Alicia loves Triton too. It's a little fiddly. It's got a long sloped shoulder, but it is beautiful. I think that might be our knit along because everybody just loves it. Yeah, you can wash it. You can wash it in cold too. All right. Hey, Diane. Nice to see you. Aw, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will subscribe to the channel, maybe like the video, and sign up our newsletter list because I put out this kind of content all the time on a weekly basis. I do a blog post, so you might enjoy that. Are you new too? Yay! Well, welcome. So happy to have you guys. Okay, so where was I? Oh, so the next fiber that I wanted to talk about, which I think is a really great warm weather fiber, is silk. So we don't necessarily think about silk as something to knit with or to wear because we sort of think it's a diva yarn, but silk is actually a really, really terrific summertime yarn. It has the same kinds of moisture absorbency and wicking characteristics that linen and wool does. So silk can actually absorb up to 30% of its weight in water without feeling damp at all. So it does definitely move that moisture away. And plus, I mean, who doesn't love silk? It's so, so gorgeous. I have a couple sweaters here, three sweaters that I have knit in silk that they're really not a diva. So this is one. I'm sure you've seen this if you've seen any of the other the video that I did with Ginny, we talked about it. So this is just a beautiful little sleeveless tank knit in a DK weight linen. Very pretty, very nice to wear, washed and dried in the machine many times. Where's that other one? I can't find the other one right. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this one, again, very pretty. In silk, very comfortable to wear. And then this one I just finished, I guess, when did we do this? Was it December we did the square neck tank? This I did in a worsted weight silk. It's black. I love this. I love a black sweater. Black gets a bad rap as far as knitting with, but if you've got a whole capsule wardrobe you're knitting, you need to have a black tank, don't you? Let's see. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, hi, Keisha. Nice to see you. Oh, did you make that? You made that Celtic tank? I love that. Somebody who's like before Ravelry, right? Super fun. Okay, so let's talk about blends. All right, let's talk about blends. So one of my favorite blends is linen and cotton, because when you blend yarns together, it's like this beautiful partnership. When you're working with somebody or you're in a relationship with somebody and they have all these strengths and you have all these strengths, and your strengths are not the same, so they're strong where you're weak and you're strong where they're weak. And so you just sort of work together and fill in and balance each other perfectly. So that to me is what a really great fiber blend is about. And cotton and linen are a wonderful fiber blend because you have the linen, which has that moisture wicking and the durability and the strength and the luster, and then cotton has the softness and some absorbency and less structure. So when you mix them together, you just get a really, really fabulous fiber, fabulous to knit with and fabulous to wear and fabulous to care for. So my favorite cotton linen blends are, of course, I love Rowan Creative Linen. A lot of you already know that. And I also love Mojave, which is from Kelbourne Woolens. So the Rowan is kind of a worsted weight. You can knit this anywhere between 18 and 22 stitches over 4 inches, and it's perfectly happy anywhere in there. And the Mojave is a little bit lighter. Okay, so this is more 22 to 24 stitches over 4 inches. So both of them are absolutely beautiful to knit, to wear, and they wash really well. So really nice stuff. I'm going to share with you my favorite sweater. You're probably tired to death of hearing about it, but this is the sweater that I knit going on 12, 15 years ago in the Rowan cotton linen, or it's called Creative Linen. Rowan Creative Linen. Thank you. This is Petri from Knitty. And this is like also a pre-Ravelry pattern. But honestly, this has been washed and dried and worn many, many times a week, all summer for more than a decade. And let me just show you the fabric. It still looks brand new. It doesn't pill at all. It's just gorgeous and so comfortable to wear. So I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that's a really good blend, is the linen and cotton. So another fabulous blend, we've been talking about linen, cotton, and silk, is linen and silk. So let me show you. This is Coleman. I have never seen a yarn this beautiful and perfect, really, ever. I can't tell you how much I love this yarn. It's got all the best characteristics of both of those fibers. It has the strength and durability of the linen, and it has the luster and the sheen of that silk. It's soft. It's beautiful to knit with. It's wonderful to wear. It's easy care. Joe McDonald, who may be on tonight, I don't know, knit a sweater in it, and she, washes it in the machine. It's just beautiful. So we actually are doing a knit along on this one starting Sunday. There'll be an online and an in-person component to that. We're doing the Joji Locatelli's staple linen top, which is beautiful. And I swatched for it. Let me share with you my swatch. I can't remember if I shared this before, but I want to share it with you now. Okay, so here is my swatch of Coleman. I just can't stop touching it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It feels really, really nice. Now it is 60%. Is that 60%? 65%? Hang on real quick. Let me check. 65% silk and 30%, 35% linen, but it is absolutely beautiful. And it's going to be wonderful in that Joji Locatelli's top. It's just a simple sleeveless top with a twisted rib front and back panel. So super pretty. If you're interested in that, there should be a link in the description of this video. So those are beautiful, beautiful blends. Another blend that is very popular is cotton and wool, or cotton and some other animal fiber. So the one that I brought a couple actually to share with you today is Rowan cotton cashmere. Okay, so cotton cashmere, again, you've got all of the great characteristics of cotton. You know, it's very soft, and it's cool and absorbent. And then you have the cotton, which makes it, I mean, the cashmere, excuse me, you have the cashmere in there that makes it, you know, even softer and a little more, gives it a little more elasticity. Plus, it also adds that little bit of wicking characteristic to make that draw the moisture away from your body. So a beautiful, wonderful fabric to wear. I consider certain yarns like cotton cashmere to be really kind of an all-season yarn. It's cool in the winter, but in the summer. It's cool in the summer, but it's also comfortable enough to wear in the winter. And Amelia mentioned, I think, that her brother only will wear cotton things. And there are a lot of people like that. A lot of people really are very sensitive to wool, and they really only want to wear cotton things. So this is a perfect way to get something that has a little more warmth for the warmer weather, but still it's beautiful for the summer. That's a whole nother topic, is all of the fibers that are considered summer weight fibers, but are really all season, particularly here in the mid-Atlantic. So we'll do a video on that later on. Let's see. Ellen is saying, how is that going? Are you liking the Mojave, Ellen, at that gauge? Are you getting 22? Ellen said she walked around Tampa this week in the cotton cashmere and did not get hot. Good to know. I love that. I love that so much. It is a beautiful, beautiful yarn. So another one that I have from Rowan is the soft yak DK. So same kind of thing. You've got 85% wool and cotton. You've got 85% cotton and 15% yak down. So that's a beautiful fabric as well. And these amounts of cashmere and yak, 15%, it doesn't really sound like a lot. But when you consider that those percentages are calculated based on the weight of the fabric or the fiber, and yak and cashmere are both very, very light. So it's actually quite a bit of cashmere content in there. So it doesn't have enough to make it feel woolly, but it has enough to offer those kinds of positive softness and moisture wicking characteristics that we want from wool in our cotton. So let's see. Hi, Betty. Nice to have you. We're happy to have you joining late. Better late than never, right? Okay, what else did I want to share with you? We are almost done. Cotton wool. Okay, so those are the wool blends. What I really kind of wanted to say too, that I think is a little bit surprising, is how would you feel about wearing 100% or close to 100% wool in the summertime? I know a lot of people think, oh, I would never, ever, ever do that. But when I think about what is a good summer fiber, there's more than just the fiber content. Okay, you have to consider the weight of the yarn. So generally, an Aran weight or a worsted weight cotton is going to feel heavier and warmer than a fingering weight wool. You know, a fingering weight wool knit at 22 to 24 stitches over 4 inches is going to be a light and lovely fabric that isn't hot or uncomfortable. You know, in the desert, those the Bedouin wear their garments are black and they're made of wool because of that moisture wicking characteristic, and it's very, very protective of the sun. So wool is more likely to protect you from the sun. And I'm only saying this because there are worsted weight, which means it has a very smooth finish and a very lightweight, so fingering weight or sport weight or even a lace weight yarn that you could knit a light little top of and wear perfectly comfortably in the summer and not feel hot. I'm not suggesting that you wear your magnolia that you just finished in the middle of August, because obviously that would be ridiculous and you'd be dying. But a light wool fabric, I believe, is really comfortable. I mean, I have a little sweater. I dropped it on the floor. I'm not going to get it right now, but I have a little sweater that I knit in a sport weight. I think it's 85% wool and 15% nylon that I just absolutely love. And I wear it all year round because it's sleeveless and that wool doesn't bother me at all. Now, everybody's different, but the kinds of things that you want to think about as you're choosing a summer fiber are, of course, the fiber. You know, is it a traditional summer fiber? But you also want to look at the weight of it. You know, there's a reason that you don't see a ton of chunky cottons. Okay, people just don't always wear those, and they tend to get very heavy. So you're going to look for the fiber, you're going to be looking for the weight of the yarn, and you're going to be looking for the texture of it. Remember that what we talked about with the texture of that flannel? Anything that has a little bit of extra fuzz is going to maybe feel a little bit warmer against your skin than something that has a really, really smooth texture. So I also just wanted to say real quick before we go, this is a beautiful fabric. This is Summerlite 4-ply, and it's carried alternately with kid silkays. I know a lot of you are going to say, kid silkays in the summer? Are you kidding me, Ellen? But I wear this in the summer, which is a very, very, it's a lace weight yarn carried with kid silkays. It is perfectly comfortable for me. Now, granted, I run a little bit cold and I spend my life going from air-conditioned house to air-conditioned car to air-conditioned shop. But I think it's really comfortable and wonderful for all but the hottest, stickiest of days that I'm going to spend outside. And that's where I'm going with this one. So this is a Summerlite 4-ply carried alternately with the kid silkays, which I think is positively lovely. So let's see, we have, so Ellen is loving her yarn. Amelia liked the cotton yak. Yeah, it's a beautiful fiber, isn't it? No, thank you to summer wool. Okay, well, you know what? Everybody's different, right? So Rita, yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Rita is doing a summer top in a fingering weight sock yarn. So beautiful yarn from Queen City Yarns, their NoDa sock, which is a very fine, tight twist merino and nylon blend. And I think it's going to make a beautiful and wearable fabric. I have pulled this, which is a Tea Time Fibers fingering weight. It's the exact same fiber as the NoDa, dyed by our own in-house dyer, Nicole, with Tea Time Fibers. I have pulled this because I want to make a little top out of this at 22 stitches. And I think it's going to be wonderful. I can't wait. Let's see what else. Yes, kid silkays is light. Tell me, Valerie, have you knit anything in kid silkays or carried with it that you would wear in the summertime? You're in Great Britain, right? So I think you might maybe have a little bit different climate, but I'd be interested in hearing. Polly. Yes, yes, I think you did try on this one. This again is one of, it is another one of Shelley Anderson's designs. I think this is called Solana, Solana. It's beautiful. It would be beautiful in this, and I may make another one, in this Rowan fine lace plus Kid Silkes. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so tell me what you think about that, Tina. I would be interested in your thoughts on it, you know? Akari. Yep. So Akari is another one of those yarns that has a little bit of wool in it. It is a cotton wool, and it's a beautiful kind of all season fiber. It's probably about as heavy as I would go for a cotton yarn. It's a worsted weight cotton, but it is absolutely lovely. Dotty top. Oh, you're knitting the dotty top. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. You are going to have to email me pictures of that. I would love, love, love to see. So there you have it. Summer fibers are traditional, you know, cotton, linen, silk, and blends thereof. But you can also sort of think in terms of other fibers that are a lightweight, that have a smooth texture, and knit at a bit looser gauge that you can get away with. So don't limit your thinking to only cotton and linen. Think about silk, think about blends, and think about the texture. So I am delighted that you could be here this evening, and I thank you so much. And there should be a link in the description. If you're not already on the newsletter list, go ahead and sign up there. I would love to share our free weekly newsletter with you. And if you don't already subscribe, would love to have you subscribe to the YouTube channel. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.